Hello, I'm Dow Bartling, and welcome to another Dow's Weekly Digest. You know, I've been to a lot of places in my life, very fortunate, from presidential palaces in South America to boardrooms where there are leather chairs and other things. There was more leather there than a saddle shop. But every now and then, you go somewhere that doesn't just remind you who you were, it reminds you who you are. LaDonna and I recently went back to Northeast Nebraska, that I call our foundational homeland. And let me tell you, in Nebraska, you don't just visit, you reconnect. We saw cousins, LaDonna's sister and her husband. We met nieces and nephews, great nieces and nephews, old classmates, and LaDonna's mother. Now, she's in her late 90s. She still lives in her own home. She cooks her own meals, does her own laundry. She goes to exercise classes, goes to Ladies' Aid, helps build quilts, and she still drives. At this point, I'm not sure she's aging. I think she's just totally ignoring the mortality tables. Now, yes, we made the trip partly for softball, because if you're from Nebraska, you don't just casually watch the ladies advance. You lean forward. You lean forward in your seat, and you're personally responsible for the outcome. An exhibition of pure home state pride. And it was worth it. But the moment that stuck with me, the one that followed me home, happened at a wedding. Small town wedding, Nebraska wedding in Decatur, Nebraska. Population 411. And on that day, I think every one of those people showed up. You see, my second cousin, let's call him Mr. E, was getting married. Now, the schedule was kind of typical, kind of standard. The wedding, short break, pictures and so forth, reception, and the reception was open to the public, which in a town like that means if you got a pulse, you're invited. It was held at the Volunteer Fire Department Hall. Because in Nebraska, a fire hall isn't just for emergencies. No, it's for community. The bride, Miss S., a second grade school teacher, was beautiful, grace-filled, absolutely radiant. And her gown, off-white gown with lace. And the bridesmaids, there was many of them, they were wearing long silk green gowns. Now, Mr. E and the groomsmen, they had ivory jackets, Levi's, and matching baseball caps. Now, that tells you everything you need to know about the priorities in Nebraska. Look sharp, but stay grounded. But here's where the story turns. You see, the bride, I knew her family on her daddy's side. Not nice to meet you kind of knew, but history knew. For a time in my life, I lived in Macy, Nebraska, attended the Omaha Indian School, stayed with my grandparents, and the bride's family was part of that chapter. Her great-grandfather and great-grandmother, her grandfather, great-uncles, and great-aunties, those people, they just didn't pass through my life, they shared it. I remember riding horses with her great-uncles, covering ground like time didn't matter. We were all over that reservation, let me tell you. And more than anything, I remember the kindness many times that we broke bread together and shared stories together. Genuine, no strings attached kindness. In fact, one day they gave me a very unique gift. It was to me a tame squirrel. Now, I don't know what that says about me or maybe them, but I'll tell you this. I took that squirrel home, I let it go, and it built a nest right at the top of our elm tree that we had in the back. You know, it's a funny thing how small gifts build the longest memories. Now, right before the wedding ceremony began, a spokesperson for the Omaha tribe stepped forward, and everything seemed to slow down. And what he said brought everything into focus. He spoke about the bride's grandfather, a man I know, but didn't fully understand at the time. He was a man and he was a warrior, not title alone, but in legacy. A warrior not just for his family, not just for his tribe, but for his country. You see, he served the country in the United States military during the Vietnam era. And his 3 sons, including the bride's father, also served. Generations of warriors, generations of sacrifice. And then, years ago, long ago, after her grandfather got out of the service, they honored him. The tribe did. Not with fanfare, not with production, but with a song. Now that day, that song served as a blessing for this marriage. You see, 2 tribal members sang that song. No production, no microphones needed, just voices and a drum. And that sound, it didn't just echo, it settled like sage smoke drifting across that room, like history taking a seat among us. You could feel it. You could feel the respect, the gratitude, the connection between the past and the present. And in that moment, it struck me that that wasn't just a wedding. This was legacy, stepping into the next chapter. 2 people becoming one, standing on the shoulders of those who gave everything so they could. Success builds a life, but moments like this, they remind you why it matters. And I'll tell you what I saw that day. I saw a life, a lifetime of service, of giving, of sacrifice. And it didn't end with the bride's grandfather. It was carried forward through his family, through his granddaughter, through that marriage. So here's a lesson for you this week, because there's always a lesson whether you pay attention or not. Don't just attend the moment. Don't just go through the motions. Don't just check the box and move on to the next thing. Pause long enough to recognize what came before you. Long enough to appreciate who helped you get on where and who you are. Long enough to feel the weight and the blessing of the moment you're standing in, that you're part of. Because in truth, every one of us were here because somebody sacrificed, somebody served, somebody showed us kindness when we didn't even know that we needed it. And every now and then, life gives you a chance to go back. Not to relive it, but to understand it. And when you do, you don't just leave with a memory. You leave with gratitude, and you realize this moment, the connection, the memory, it was worth the trip. I want you to take care. And remember, blessed are they who ease the pain of misfortune, for they shall be called insurance agents. As I said, take care.